Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for, this is going to be a bonus reading. This is going to be a deep reading. I came up with these main questions. There's going to be, each card is going to be a deeper question based off the main question. It'll all make sense in just a second. I did readings like this a few months ago, and this is kind of like the next stage of those readings. So definitely let me know what you think down below. But sure, we'll take all three. Your first question is, what's manifesting in your life right now? You have this white raven spirit, says trust in magic. You have this bat spirit, says a rebirth is assured. And you have a snake spirit, says a time to heal. So you could literally be manifesting all of those things. I think the white raven spirit here is kind of like saying that you need to believe in magic a little bit. You know, I think we all are in this space because we have like Neptune is going to be going back into Pisces. And we've had Neptune and Pisces for an extended period of time. And with Neptune and Pisces, it's kind of like we do need to believe. It's like Tinkerbell, you know? It's like if you don't believe, she doesn't exist, right? And so it's like the same thing. It's like if we don't believe that good things can happen for us, or if we don't believe in, you know, magical opportunities or happy little accidents or whatever you want to call it, then they're not going to happen, right? So if we do believe, though, then they will. And so that's kind of like popping into my head. We are definitely in a very strong time of rebirths, Capricorn. Like literally every single sign has had a lot going on with like changes, rebirths, all that stuff. So it kind of makes sense to me here, Capricorn, that you could be experiencing a rebirth. With that snake spirit, I think that there's like part of your old story that you have to let go of here. You know, the snake, it says time to heal, but the snake is a pretty good card. And it can sometimes, but it kind of represents like breaking a trance or needing to let go of something that could be preventing you from like having something that you want. And so that is also what I would work on for manifesting. For your first card, we are going to look at what you are manifesting right now. And you have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands could say that I think you're manifesting a finish line, really. You have the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles showing up at the end of the reading. And both of those cards can kind of say that you're finally getting a result, especially the Eight of Pentacles. It's a card of material success on the horizon. It's like getting paid for work that you've already done. Eight of Wands is a quick conclusion or a quick success. So I feel that what you could be manifesting is the end of like the hardship, the end of the struggle bus, that the Capricorn struggle bus, right? Which I think you've been on for too long. And I feel like maybe you're starting to say, it is kind of popping into my head this way that it's more like, I don't know if this is advice or what here, Capricorn, but I think you could even be having moments right now where you're saying to yourself, it doesn't have to be this hard. Like maybe you're finally saying to yourself, I can make things easier, right? Or I can make things better. So is this really something you're manifesting? I don't know. But I think it's maybe more like something that will help you manifest, right? If you believe it, that you have to work hard to make money and be successful, then that's going to be the truth. If you believe that it can come easily to you and you can be successful no matter what, then that is also true. And it's like what you believe to be true is true. And so I think that's what the Ten of Wands is saying, is that it doesn't have to be a struggle. And you are maybe getting off the struggle bus here. Next, we're going to look at how will it show up? How will these manifestations show up for you at this time? And you have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is about learning as you go. So, like, literally, I think that your manifestations will come about. Like, again, it's a little bit different for you, I think, Capricorn, because this is basically saying to me that you have to learn. The Queen of Wands is a card of learning as you go. Obviously, if I told you right now that you could make $1 million a year working 20 hours a week, you would probably tell me I'm crazy. But if I showed you 20 examples of people who are doing it, and I showed you all the numbers and I proved it to you, then you would start to believe that it was true, right? And that's kind of like what I think is going on here with the Queen of Wands. It's almost like you have to, the message I'm getting here is that you need to like prove something to yourself. And I hope that makes sense. It's like it's almost like the reading is saying the evidence exists for you to literally live your wildest dreams, Capricorn. But you have to maybe you do have to go and see it. She's the card of learning as you go. So it could also just be that you're like kind of starting a new journey or a new path in your life, and you just kind of have to like see how things go. But I would, I think that would be good for you. I would highly recommend it with the Queen of Wands. I think it'll lead to probably the most success, growth, abundance, happiness, good things, all that. So I like to see it. The other thing is is that she does things her own way. She has this black cat here, and the black cat during the times of tarot was considered very unlucky. The whole point of the black cat, she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She's just going to do things that she wants to do because she said so. So I think you kind of need to do your own thing right now. Next, we're going to look at how you can align with what you're trying to manifest faster. And you have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles says the opportunity is right in front of your face. You just have to grab onto it literally and make it and plant the seed. I'm not sure if it's you or Cancer, your opposite sign, that I said this to, but like literally one of you had exactly this message this week. The week of August 4th, maybe, I think, for that set of weekly readings is where I said this. I'm pretty sure it was you. But it could have been Cancer, your opposite sign. Doesn't matter. The whole point is that you have Jupiter in Cancer, your opposite sign. Because it's your opposite sign, it's going to benefit you more than everyone else. Like, there is probably a big opportunity in front of you where all you have to do is grab onto it and make it happen here, Capricorn, and you will be happy that you did, right? So I would, plain and simple. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Four Wands. Four Wands can be marriage, of course. But this is coming up in the area of what what is being drawn in, like basically what you're manifesting. Some of you could be manifesting a commitment. Your last row is going to represent love, and it does look pretty good for love. So, we'll talk about it in a minute. But I think what you are manifesting is true freedom. The freedom to do what you want when you want. The Four Wands is the card of freedom. The Ten of Wands, he wants freedom. He wants to be set free from those burdens. He doesn't want to feel burdened and all that. So again, I think this is much bigger picture for you, Capricorn. I think you're manifesting, true freedom. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Six of Swords here. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores. I think your life will get calmer. That should be a sign to you that you are manifesting in the right direction, right? Is that things feel calmer, things feel more stable, things feel more secure. Like if I were you, that's really what I'd be paying attention to, Capricorn, plain and simple, is like how things feel. Do they feel calmer? Does it feel like you're making an improvement or not? And if it doesn't, then obviously I would make a change. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is literally the question here is how can you get into alignment faster to manifest faster? Nine of Cups is about being in alignment, right? The whole point of this card is that he looks chubby because he's about to have a feast. He looks chubby because he's had a feast before, and that's why he is attracting a feast. Because we have to have something before we can have it. And people always say, how is that possible? And I always say, well, if you want love, go be in love with nature. Go be in love with a dog. Go be in love with a cat. I don't care. Being in that energy. Take yourself on a date. Do all these things. Do all the things you would do if you were in a relationship. People always say to me, I'm going to do these things when I get into a relationship. I'm like, why wait? It's like, why not do it now? Then you'll attract a relationship where you can do those things. But go start now. Life is short. I always say, like, many years ago, I was working at a cafe. I saw a person get hit by a car. The car was going very slow, and the person died, right? Like, you wouldn't have thought that it would have killed the person. That, like, they were not going fast, right? And so it's like, ever since then, I plan on dying on stumps, right? Because your life, you have no idea how quickly it can be taken away. And it's like, I don't know, maybe that was a good thing that I saw that, because it just made me realize that it, could be taken away so quickly, right? And so, I feel like saying, don't wait, Capricorn. You're not going to live forever. So there you go. Next, we are going to look at what is blocking you, if anything is blocking you at this time. You have this deep breath card and this feeling the world card. So, I think this is very common right now, the feeling the world card. You're the only person to get this, but what I would just say it's a common energy, I think, obviously, for obvious reasons. So maybe you need to be careful of like what you're seeing in the world. Or how you are seeing things. Like, again, there's 1,000,001 things to be worried about right now, but really it's not very helpful to worry about those things. Really, I think we're in a time where we have to do what we can with what we got. So unless we can directly control or change something, then it's probably not worth worrying about, and we should probably just be getting to work on what's important to us. So there you go. You have the Hermit, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Cups. The Hermit is showing up in the area of what limiting belief or situation is in the way. And so you needing to shine bright. How many readings have I done for you over the past year that say you're on top of the world, it's your time to shine, things like that, right, Capricorn? So it's kind of funny that it's coming up as a blockage because it's like saying you're not doing it. So I think you need to take up more space, and I think you need to shine more and put your ideas out into the world more, or share yourself more, or try to get more attention. I think part of the problem here, Capricorn, is that the Hermit's been hurt, and the whole, and also where I was going with this is we have the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces. People who are born with South Node Virgo, North Node Pisces, usually, again, not always true, but like their past life, maybe they were hurt and they escaped to the top of the mountain. They basically became a hermit, and they did that to punish the world, right? So their karma is to learn how to come down from the mountain and to share. And no matter what, right? Even though they were hurt, and to not punish the world, and to not get a chip on their shoulder, right? And so I'm just talking about the karma of people who are born with that. It's kind of interesting because it's like maybe that's what it's saying to you, is that it's your time to like shine in the world and show the world like what you have learned over the past many years, and because that's where you will get the biggest benefit, right? And that's what I would do here. You have the Knight of Wands, and again, this is coming up in the area of how how did this block form, basically, and why is it persisting? So again, if you have been experiencing a blockage for a long period of time, I feel like the Knight of Wands is saying because you need to explore more. The Knight of Wands is a card of exploration. He's also like the true builder in the tarot, and so he kind of like, if you are experiencing this blockage, it could say that like you know what to do, but you just have to get to work, more or less. The other thing is there's something about popping into my head about outcomes, but like what I mean by that, Capricorn, is like you don't know what the outcome of something will be, but that's life. So I feel like if you don't, like if you are fearing something that you don't have yet, that where there's like a blockage, right? This is saying no one knows how anything is going to go, but you just have to go for it. I almost feel like this is encouraging like a little bit more bravery. Next, you have the Page of Cups, and this is going to represent your solution to any blockages that you're dealing with. The Page of Cups could be you dreaming, like literally just dreaming up a solution to a problem. So, getting into that creative space or that, dreamy space might be a good idea. The other thing is just accepting an opportunity. He has this fish in this cup here, and I always say that fish might not exist. It might be part of his imagination. We don't really know. But what I do know is he needs to bring that fish down to earth, right? And so I feel for a lot of you, this is saying there's like an opportunity right in front of you that you need to grab onto here, and that also could help you overcome blockages. Yep, with the Hermit, you have the Page of Wands. So Page of Wands is about going on the adventure. Again, this part of the reading represents what limiting belief or situation is in the way, basically what's causing the blockage. So like being willing to experiment, explore, go on adventures, that is the thing that is probably going to set you free the most. And so, that's what I would do with this card, because it will set you free. The other thing is that he's kind of just willing to follow his enthusiasm. And we already, without even clarifying more, we already have a bunch of Wands cards here in this reading. So I'm wondering if this reading is saying you need to tap into that inner child energy. We don't have any cards of the inner child here in the reading yet. That could change in a minute. But, again, it's kind of giving me that vibe of like, maybe you've been taking things too seriously. And of course, I think whenever we take things seriously, that's what causes a blockage in the first place, is being too serious, not being playful enough, taking life too seriously as well. It's like we're here to create our own reality, and you should have a good time doing it, right? And I think if you can develop that belief in yourself, then you will have a good time doing it. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Death card. Yeah, some sort of big change coming in for you. Everybody has had the Death card, the Tower, all Judgment, all of it. So I think we're in a time of great change, just in general. And I think just allowing things to change in your life is going to be very good for you. The other thing is that this can literally just represent, this can represent like the breakdown of tradition, the Hierophant with the Death card. We have the King is dead on the Death card. The King being dead on the Death card just says even kings die. So it basically means that even things we think will last forever, sometimes they don't. And we just have to be willing to explore new things, new ideas, new directions, new thoughts, all that other stuff. So, just be open to new ways of doing things. With the Page of Cups, you have the Eight of Cups. Again, Eight of Cups can represent walking away from things that no longer serve you. And so, again, I would take a cold, hard look at things that you are doing in your life. And, again, this is very general to me. I think it's just literally saying there are things that are a waste of time. There are things that aren't a waste of time. Only you can answer that question, right? I can't answer that question for you. I mean, literally, you have Justice to Devil to the Six of Pentacles, right? It's like Justice and the Devil. Devil is like an energy vampire or something that's wasting your time. But Justice says of course, there are like some things that are worth it. There are some things that aren't. Justice says cause and effect. We just have to pay attention to the scales, right? Next, we're going to look at where you are being redirected in your life at this time, and you clearly are because you have the Tower. You have this Day and Night card. It says there is current disharmony due to existing differences in some matter. You have this Overcoming Challenges. It says a triumph will bring great change. Let yourself be open to victory. Yes, I think it's time for you to win, Capricorn, but you have to be open to those wins, and you have to allow those wins to enter into your life, or you just have to be open to allowing yourself to win in general. You have, in the area of what path is closing or becoming unstable, you have the Tower. I mean, this is classic Pluto in Aquarius energy, or Pluto having moved into Aquarius. For you, Capricorn, we talk about it all the time. I mean, you're literally entering into new reality. I think that your old reality is collapsing, but this is a good thing. The Tower is escaping the Matrix. They have been believing something for too long. That's why the Tower is falling, is because they have built these walls too high up around them, and they've been ignoring reality. So I do feel like a lot of you are kind of being brought down to reality. And, it's always uncomfortable to change for some people, and sometimes, and for everybody, really. It's always uncomfortable, but I think you need to realize, and I think you need to believe that the changes that are happening in your life or that are about to happen are for the better, not for the worse. So, that's what you need to work on here with the Tower, and I definitely feel that. By the way, I do feel like some of you could be moving or traveling. You have the Eight of Wands right next to it, so if you're planning on moving or traveling, or even in the future, this is a good card for doing that. Next, you have the Hierophant, and this is coming up in the area of what's the real opportunity that's opening up for you. The Hierophant would be to level up in life. So the real opportunity that you're being redirected to here is kind of like a level up in your life. He has these 3 levels to his crown. They represent initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. So I feel a lot of you are growing very spiritually as well. The Hierophant can definitely represent spiritual growth, or being able to grow more spiritually, which obviously would be a good thing. So I definitely feel that for you, spiritual growth, basically. I also feel that some of you, it's maybe your life isn't terrible, but the Hierophant, he communicates with heaven and earth, and so you might have a vision in heaven. You might have a vision for your life that's better, that exists above your head. And sometimes I feel like the Hierophant, he translates those messages. He brings them down to earth. But sometimes what I feel is that the Hierophant can say that you need to bring your vision down to earth. Whatever your ultimate dream is, or whatever your dream life is, that's something that you need to manifest here on earth. You have the Justice card. Again, Justice is like cause and effect. So Justice says you need to pay attention. This is basically the area of the reading that is saying, why is this redirection ultimately in your favor? As in, why is this going to be a good thing for you? And the answer is because it's going to balance your life out, and it's probably going to bring you more towards a just life, or towards a life that's, that you actually want to live. And, there you go. With the Tower, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, I kind of feel like this is just confirmation that you are being redirected at this time. Again, I knew that it would basically be a yes for you, Capricorn, because you've been dealing with Pluto going over the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius for a long time. So, it was pretty obvious to me. With the Hierophant, you have the Fool. The Fool says it's time to take a leap of faith in a new direction. So any new opportunities or any new directions that you could be taking a leap of faith in would be a good idea. I kind of do feel like there could be an opportunity right now, right in front of you. We talked about it a minute ago, that you just need to jump on like now and stop waiting, which comes up for you in every single reading. It's funny because it also comes up for Cancer, your opposite sign as well. This very much could be Jupiter. It's kind of a lucky time right now. Like the next 2-ish years are kind of lucky with, Jupiter in Cancer, even though next year Jupiter will move into Leo, but it will retrograde out back into Cancer next year. Obviously Jupiter is only in Cancer for 18 months. So that's why I said 2-ish, right? But it's a very lucky time. I think it's a very lucky time for you. So it's like, the opportunities that are in front of you, you're going to want to grab onto. With the Justice card, you have the Knight of Wands, and Knight of Wands, I think that you need more adventure. I think your life is about to become more vibrant, but you just don't realize it yet here, Capricorn. It's like, I think having Pluto in your sign, very challenging. I've talked about it before, especially for you, and especially because most people never experience that in their life. Most Capricorns will never experience Pluto in Capricorn. It takes 280 whatever years for Pluto to come back to a sign. So for the next many generations, no Capricorns will have to experience this. So you got lucky, kind of, but not. And so I think the universe wants you to have fun. The universe is like, hey, congratulations, you made it. Next, in the area of what message does your future self have for you at this time, you have this False Friend card. It says ulterior motives, disingenuous, and selfish. Devil, I would definitely be careful of people at this time. You have this Overcome card. It says conquer fear, breakthrough, and growth. This is the only thing I would focus on, is yourself, right? The things that you want, to manifest and create. I think you're overcoming a lot right now, so that's really what I would pay attention to. You have the Eight of Wands in the area of what do you need to stop repeating from the past, and the Eight of Wands, this is what your future self wants you to stop repeating. The Eight of Wands is a pretty good card, but the Eight of Wands could be your words. So it could basically say, Capricorn, that your future self wants you to change your words, basically, so that you can live a better life. Like if you speak negatively about your situation, then that's what you're going to get, right? And that's pretty much what I'm getting here, is that your future self wants you to be more positive. I think your future self wants you to focus on the impossible as well. Eight of Wands, all those wands are going in one direction. That's the whole point of Eight of Wands. Single focus, right? The more you can focus on exactly what you want, the more likely it is that you are going to get exactly what you want. So I would make sure that you are focused on exactly what you want with this card, because you'll probably get it. You have the King of Swords, and again, this is what advice would your future self give you right now? King of Swords says you know everything. Didn't I say this to you in a recent reading? I'm pretty sure I did. King of Swords is a card of knowledge and wisdom. The problem with the King of Swords is sometimes we just have the knowledge part, we don't have the wisdom part. Wisdom is taking knowledge and putting it into practice. But I think this is, the universe is basically saying to you, like, hey, you know everything you need to know about whatever it is you're about to do. There's like nothing that you need to learn. There's nothing more that you need to do other than getting to work, or moving towards whatever it is you're trying to create. But you probably know more than you think. I feel like you're much more capable than you think as well. So if you're thinking about starting a business, starting a relationship, starting anything right now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I have to be very careful of what I say, because people will say, I barely lifted my pinky and you said something was going to happen, nothing happened. I'm like, obviously you have to lift more than a freaking pinky to get things moving, right? So I don't know what to tell you, but for the rest of you, it's like, yeah, you're going to have to put in work. But I think for the most part, this is going to be something that has a nice flow that you are working on, or that you're putting work into. It's like the universe is saying, again, not that it's going to be easy, but you know enough to make it successful. Next, we're going to look at what part of your life will change the most if you follow this, and your life will change the most. You have the Devil, which is you, Capricorn. So, again, I think that it's saying your whole entire life is going to change if you take action on something that you clearly want. Right here, Eight of Wands. Now, the Devil isn't necessarily bad, because it could be you. But, with this False Friend card, just as a little side message here, I would be very careful of people at this time with that Devil energy. And again, I wouldn't be paranoid about this. I would just pay attention. You have two great cards for paying attention. Justice, Six of Pentacles, right on the other side of it. So this basically says that you don't have to worry about people you meet. All you have to do is pay attention. If you give energy to a person, do you get it back? If the answer is yes, great, keep going. Then it's probably a good person. If you give a person energy and they just run away with it and never return the favor, probably a false friend that you should be careful of, right? With the Eight of Wands, you have the Nine of Swords. Again, this is part of the reading that says, what do you need to stop repeating from the past? Nine of Swords is literally Groundhog's Day. It is having a nightmare, waking up, being stuck in a nightmare, repeating a mistake over and over and over again. So I think that it's like your story that you're basically changing here, Capricorn. And so that's what I would change. With the King of Swords, you have the King of Swords. Basically, the universe saying I meant what I said. So, like I said, I think turning knowledge into wisdom, using what you have learned and putting it into practice is what you should do there. With the Devil, you have the Magician. Yes, I think you need to believe in magic, like we said at the beginning of the reading. Is this really magic? Well, maybe you do. Maybe you do need to get a little bit magical and say, like, yeah, there are some things I want in life that seem a little bit impossible, but it's like maybe I can wave my magic wand and make it happen. Maybe you do need to believe that, Capricorn. But I also think you need to believe that you can change with the Magician. The Magician is a card of reinvention. It says that you can be who and whatever you want. He has the snake wrapped around his waist. The snake is the Ouroboros, which is reinvention. It's time for you to change into whatever you want. And you started with that snake card. We're in the year of the snake as well. So, again, I think you can become whatever you want at this time. You just have to do it. Next, we're going to look at who's thinking of you, or does someone have their eye on you is the question we're going to ask here. And if you don't want love, this could also be something that you do love, like something else. You have the anchor and the birds. It's like, basically, this could be communication. I feel like saying no, that no one has their eye on you, but I also don't think that's true, because I think that this could be a person who's communicating with you. So I don't know, if you want love, there could be definite communication coming in for you here. I feel like there needs to be communication. That's what it is. It just popped into my head here, Capricorn. I feel like the anchor is saying there's no communication. Someone is stuck, whether it's you or them, I'm not sure, right? Whatever. Take it how it resonates. But it's like the birds is a card of communication. There needs to be communication. For your first card, you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is going to represent their current energies towards you. This is a person who's very focused on work, I feel. Not like in a bad way. I actually like the Eight of Pentacles for love, because it's also a person who's willing to put in the work. I just feel intuitively that you could be attracting a person who is focusing on work. This kind of gives me one of those vibes, Capricorn, where you could be wondering, like, why this person is single, but that could be why. Maybe they just focus on work. Maybe they're not focused on love right now. So there you go, right? But, it could be a successful person. And again, I do like this card for love, because usually it's a person who puts in the work. Next, we're going to look at what do they wish they could say. You have the King of Pentacles, that they're focused on work. I have no freaking clue. King of Pentacles is also good for love, because they, again, they want to put the work in to make this, to make it work. It's really funny, because I'm wondering if this is a person who just isn't, either they're not thinking about love right now, or they're, they're just doing whatever. I don't know. But, that's kind of like the vibe I get here. So again, you might be, maybe you're interested in a person, Capricorn, and maybe they don't know you exist. I mean that in the nicest way possible. Maybe they just don't know because you've never talked to them, right? So again, I don't know. I think this person is just focused on work. Next, in the area of what's likely to happen between the two of you, you have the Six of Pentacles. This could be like this is kind of like middle of the road, right? Six of Pentacles is equal give and take, which is good in a connection, but it could also say that, like, there needs to be more energy given to the connection. So, this could say that there needs to be communication, like I said, with the birds, or it's like something needs to get it going. So let's see. We'll clarify and see what's going on here. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, this is, again, their current energies towards you. Again, it tells me that maybe this person isn't even aware. You could be the person that has your eye on someone. I mean, I'm not calling you out here, Capricorn, but I totally am at the same time. So, it just kind of feels to me like this is like one person knows, the other doesn't, or something. I don't know. That's how it's popping into my head. I feel like you could easily get an answer here very quickly. So, I don't know. There you go. With the King of Pentacles, here you go. You have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, this would be a good person, for sure. Ten of Cups is like everything you want and desire. Ten of Cups is happy home, happy family. I do think it's a person that wants to have a family, that would be happy to have a family, things like that. Very happy card as well, so it probably would be something that would make you very happy. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the King of Cups here. Again, what's likely to happen? Could be love, for sure. King of Cups, I don't really look at as a love card necessarily. Sure, it could be, but he has a very deep emotion. So it could say that this would be a very deep emotional connection, which again could be a good thing. You have basically every sign. You have air, earth, water right here. You have the Page of Cups, which is water, Scorpio, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo. You have Scorpio again, Capricorn, Libra, fire. Like I said, literally could be any sign that you're attracting. But, it could be someone who is guided by their emotions. The thing about the King of Cups is he can be hard to read, especially with the King of Swords. So, maybe that's what's holding this up, because I feel like there is a little bit of a holdup. I'm not going to sugarcoat it here, Capricorn. Like, I think this is something you could probably have already, for those of you that are interested in a person, but maybe it's a person that's like hard to read or something like that. I don't know. I think I'm not too worried about it, though. It looks pretty good. You have the Ten of Cups, so that looks good to me. But this is a pretty good reading overall. I like it, Capricorn. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.